Yo, it's December, but the city's like totally lit right now, not even kidding. Everyone's going all out partying hard as if it's the norm. Legit feels like December's turned from just another month into an endless vibe. If you were here, we'd totally debate whether to stick to our chill routine or vibe up our dinners and switch up our fits to match the hype. Nowadays, we're all about switching up our looks for the fun of it, which is a total shift from back in the day when that was a no-go unless things were really going sideways. If I know you, you'd probably say we shouldn't just blend in with everyone or be total outsiders. But maybe this is the time to really check ourselves, stay away from the mainstream pleasure fest, and prove we're solid on our own and not just following the crowd. It's way braver to stay clear-headed when everyone else is losing it, but it's next level to hang without going overboard, standing out, or just fading into the background. You can still enjoy the season without going all out. I'm dead set on seeing how solid you are, so I'm throwing down a challenge. Live super basic for a few days, rock the simplest food and gear, and see if you're like, was this what I was scared of? It's when things are chill that we gotta prep for the rough times. It's like soldiers train in peace so they're ready for battle. Train before the storm hits. This isn't about living like some drama king or hitting up extreme poverty cosplay, but getting real with it. Take on the simple life for a bit so it's a real test, not just a one-off. Trust you'll be buzzing on the basics and you'll see you don't need much to be at peace, not relying on luck or whatever. It's all about feeling rich without the cash, knowing you can handle the low-key life. Even Epic Russ, who was all about enjoying life, would dial it back now and then to see if he was missing out on anything major and if it was worth chasing. He lived on the cheap, checking if he could still hit peak happiness. It's all about finding joy in the basics and knowing you're good with or without the extras. This is about getting cozy with the idea of having less so that if fortune flips, you're not caught off guard. It's not about missing out, but being ready and knowing you can handle whatever comes your way, making the good times even sweeter. So let's get down with the basics, make friends with the minimalist life, and show we're more than what we have. Let's prove we're solid no matter what's in our wallet.
Yo, every time I get a text from you, I'm legit bouncing off the walls with joy. It's like not just hearing from you, but getting a solid promise, you know. And I'm totally here begging you to keep on this path, cause what's a better vibe to ask from a homie than something that's all for their own glow up? If you can totally dip out from all that busy buzz you mentioned. If that's a no-go, then at least try to yeet yourself out of there. We've already blown enough time. Let's start packing up our lives like we're prepping for a major life declutter. For real, nobody should be tripping over us wanting some peace. We've ridden enough waves. Time to coast into a chill harbor. And don't even think about flexing your chill time for clout. Your vibe shouldn't be about hiding or flexing your hermit mode. Not hidden, cause I'm not about to push you to ghost everyone and dive into obscurity. Instead, make your peace without making it a whole production. Look, if you were free from the jump, you'd ponder whether to live your best Loki life. But you've been thrown into the spotlight with your skills, your sick writing, and all those high-profile connections. Fame's already got you in its grip. You could try to vanish, but your past deeds are gonna out you. You can't just lurk in the shadows. Some of that old shine's gonna follow you no matter where you bounce to. You can snag that piece for yourself without anyone getting salty or feeling like you're missing out. Cause what are you actually leaving behind? Clients, they're not here for you. They're here for what you can do for them. It's all about the chase now, not the connection. If some lonely rich dude changes his will, watch how quick everyone switches up. You gotta ask yourself, is it worth more to keep your realness or just some of your stuff? Wish you could have stayed low-key from the start instead of getting blasted into the stratosphere by good fortune. That quick rise, your gigs, and all the promises of more just pulled you away from what's real. Why wait until you've got nothing left to want? That's never gonna happen. Desires are like dominoes. Knock one down and another pops up. You've been shoved into a life where you'll never stop wanting, never be free. Break free from that grind. It's better to rip off the band-aid than to be forever rubbed raw. If you go low-key, life's gonna be simpler, but you'll actually feel full. Right now you're just surrounded by stuff but starving. Would you rather be broke and chill or loaded and still wanting? Success ain't just hungry, it's also a magnet for everyone else's hunger. And as long as you're never satisfied, you won't satisfy anyone else. But how do I bounce? You ask. Any way you want. Think about all the risks you've taken for cash, all the grind for a title. You gotta risk it to get that downtime too, or else you'll just age out in the chaos of jobs and responsibilities, drowning in a sea of tasks no one's ever dodged by just keeping it low-key. 'Cause what does your want for quiet life matter to the world? The world wants the exact opposite. What if you let your role expand even more? Everything added to your plate is just more to stress about. Maecenas was on point when he said there's thunder even on the loftiest peaks, meaning even at the top you're not safe from the storm. But is power worth the hassle if it means losing yourself? Maecenas could have been a legend, but he lets success soften him up. Don't end up like that. Pull back before it's too late and stick close to what's real. Maecenas' words could have squared us up, but I know you're gonna want more. So here's a slice from Epicurus. It's not about what's on the table, but who's in the chairs. That vibe's only yours if you step back from the noise. Otherwise, you're just dining with whoever your assistant thinks is worth the time. But real talk, you can't pick your crew based on who shows up at your door or who shares your table. The biggest trap for someone drowning in their own wealth is thinking they've got friends when it's just a one-way street, and thinking favors buy loyalty when really it just breeds resentment. Kindness can build bonds, sure, but only if you're picking your people wisely, not just throwing help around like confetti. So while you're figuring out your own space, keep this wisdom in mind. It matters more who's with you than what you're handing out.
Yo, if you're vibing high and feeling like you're finally gonna be your own boss, I'm all for it. Mad props to me if I can help you get out of the mess you've been swimming in. But yo, bro, I gotta ask you to really let wisdom vibe with your soul. Show you're leveling up not just by talking a big game or flexing in your Insta captions, but by being solid in your feels and cutting down on those wants. Let's see those actions speak louder than your tweets. It's a whole other vibe for those just spitting speeches to get claps from the crowd versus those who are all about that action, not just talk. Philosophy's all about doing the real stuff, living by your own hype, making sure your snap stories and your real life moves are syncing up. The goal is to be 100 no matter the sitch, keeping it real all day every day. But you hit me back, who's actually living like this? Only a few real ones, no cap. It's tough for sure, but there are peeps out there walking the talk. Keeping consistent is the real challenge. Check yourself. Are you living large but keeping your fam on the budget menu? Are your dinners low-key but your house looking like MTV Cribs? You gotta stick to one vibe, my dude. Some peeps are all about showing off in public but living different in private. That's just whack and shows you are not really solid. The real talk is this mess comes from not really knowing what you want, bouncing around and not sticking to your guns. So if I gotta boil it down, wisdom's all about wanting the same good stuff all the time and being chill with saying no to the rest. That's the vibe check. And about all the stuff you are worried about leaving behind. Bro, if you stop feeding the crowd, they'll figure their own stuff out. Or maybe you'll see how dope simplicity can be. The real ones will stick by you. The rest were just there for the ride. Isn't it lit to find out who your true squad is? Can't wait for the day when no one's gassing you up with fake compliments. So keep your grind focused on being cool with just you and the good stuff that comes from within. Toss the rest of your worries to the universe. What's better than being at peace right where you are? Get comfy with a simple life so you're not thrown off when things change. And here's a little something from this chat to keep you thinking about that. Epicurus was like, if you were crashing on a cot and rocking rags, your words hit different because you're living your truth. Seeing someone like Demetrius chilling without even a blanket just hits different. He's not just talking, he's living it. You might be wondering if you can still diss wealth even if you're sitting on a stack. For sure, but the real MVP is the one who can be around all that cash and not let it change them. It's all about how you vibe with it, whether you're loaded or not. And if you suddenly had to tighten your belt, I dunno, and neither does Epicurus. It's all about the mindset, whether you're cool with your situation or always wanting more. So keep pushing on the path you've started, and who knows? You might just find that perfect spot or realize you're cool just shy of it. And about all those peeps, depending on your wallet. If you cut off the funds, they'll make do, or maybe you'll get to see who's really down for you. Poverty's got its perks. It shows who your real friends are. So when's the day you'll stop hearing sweet nothings and start living your truth? Aim to be chill with what you've got, especially the goods that are all you, and let the universe handle the rest. There's nothing closer to real happiness than that. Step down to where you can't be knocked off your feet, and you might just find joy in the simple things. Epicurus was all about seeing if the simple life affected his happiness, and turns out it didn't. You can find joy without all the extras. So here's the deal. Don't just fantasize about living with less, actually give it a go. It's about getting ready for whatever life throws at you, finding peace in simplicity. We're too used to living large, so let's get back to basics and remember we don't need much to be happy. Start small and soon you'll find that living simply isn't just easy. It's enjoyable. Because real freedom comes from not worrying about stuff. Let's take a few days to pretend we're broke AF to get ready for the real deal. We've been living too extra, thinking everything's a chore. But let's wake up and remember we started with just milk and some clothes. Now we think we need the whole kingdom. Let's get real.
Yo, you're stressing about some dudes you mentioned. Real talk, your biggest drama is with yourself. You're your own roadblock, fam. You're all about liking the idea of getting your life on track, seeing where the good vibes are, but not quite hitting up that route. You know where happiness is at, but don't got the guts to grab it. Let me spill what's holding you back, since you're not seeing it. You're thinking the life you're about to peace out from is all that. Thinking stepping into a chill mode is like stepping into the unknown dark. Nah bruh, switching it up is leveling up. It's like choosing real light over just some shine. One's got its own vibe, the other's just borrowing vibes. Your grind, your deep dives into learning, that's what's gonna make you glow. Take Epicurus. Dude was writing to Idomeneus, bullying him from a flashy life to one where he's actually remembered. Epicurus was like, my letters will hype you up more than any of that stuff you're chasing. Was Epicurus capping? Nah, who'd even know Idomeneus if not for Epicurus' shout-outs? All those high rollers and even the king are just echoes now. Cicero's letters kept Atticus in the convo. Atticus would have been just another name, even with all those famous in-laws, if Cicero hadn't linked him up. Time's gonna roll over us, but a few legends will stand tall, fighting off being forgotten. Epicurus promised his buddy fame, and I'm throwing the same promise your way, bruh. I'm gonna be a hit with future gens, and I'm bringing you with me. Virgil promised eternal fame to his heroes, and he's delivering. When you're caught up in someone else's game, sure, you'll have your moment, your place will be popping, but the moment you step back, you're out of the scene. But when you've got that innate talent, respect only grows, and whatever's tied to your name gets passed on. Don't want Idomeneus to just be a free name drop here, so he's gonna pay his way. Epicurus hit him with, if you wanna make P-Dog rich, don't stack his cash, cut his cravings. That's straight fire, no need to add anything. But hey, it's not just about cash. It's like, want P-Dog to be legit. Don't just boost his rep, cut his cravings. These words ain't just Epicurus. They're for all of us. It's like in the Senate. If someone's got a solid proposal, I'm all for splitting it to back the good stuff. So I'm all about echoing Epicurus' gold words to show those sliding into his DMs for the wrong reasons, that living honorably is key no matter whose squad you're rolling with. Hit up his garden where it's all chill here, our top vibe is pleasure. The host there's all welcoming, hitting you up with simple eats and saying you vibing. This place isn't about cranking up your cravings. It's about chilling them out, no charges attached. That's the pleasure Epicurus was living for. But real talk, I'm hitting on those desires that just won't quit without a little sweet talking. For the desires that can take a rain check that you can dial down, here's the deal. A vibe like that is cool with our nature, but it ain't a must-have. Anything extra you throw at it is just bonus. The stomach though. That dude doesn't take advice well, always wanting more. But it's chill. You can satisfy it without going all out, just meet it halfway. Bottom line. Don't get it twisted thinking this is just an Epicurus exclusive. It's for everyone. It's about making smart choices, not just stacking more on your plate. Keep it simple, keep it real, and maybe find that stepping back into a simpler low-key life is actually the rich life.
Okay, buckle up, cause we're diving deep into some real talk. So you've finally clocked that it's time to ghost those extra AF kinder toxic vibes you've been chasing, right? But you're sitting there like, how do I even start to dip from this mess? Well, it's kinda like needing that friend who's right there to call you out on your BS in person, cause let's be real, a doc can't just slide into your DMs with the deets on when to hit up your next snack or shower sesh. They gotta feel the vibe, you know. Peep this old school saying about gladiators getting their game plan on the fly, watching every little move their opponent makes, cause sometimes it's that tiny shift in their eye or a slight hand twitch that's screaming heads up. We can spit all the general life hacks and write them down for days on what you should probably be doing, throwing advice not just at you, but at the future squad too. But when it comes to the when and how to actually pull it off, nobody is dishing out those secrets from a distance. You've got to be all in, eyes wide, ready to snatch that fleeting chance when you see it. So keep your eyes peeled for that shot, and when it hits, go all out to yeet yourself from that grind. Now lean in for the real spill. My hot take is you got to bounce from this whole scene or like life itself. But chill, we're talking soft exit vibes, untying the mess you've knotted up, but if it's down to the wire, you might just have to snip it. No one's out here trying to live on edge forever instead of just facing the drop. First things first, don't trap yourself. Be cool with where you've landed even if it's more of a faceplant. Don't be chasing more. You'll just play yourself, and everyone will see it wasn't just a slip. That whole I had no choice bit. Weak sauce. Nobody is forcing you to max out life's speed dial. Sometimes hitting pause is a whole mood even if you're not pushing back. And if I'm bringing in the wisdom crew, tossing in some big brain energy from the likes of Epicurus peeping his letters for some solid escape plans, but always timing it right. Epicurus is all about not sleeping on your breakout moment, promising you can shake off even the heaviest stuff without rushing or dragging your feet when it's go time. Expecting some stoic fire too. They're not all about grinding through the pain. If your grind has purpose, they're here for it. But no noble souls wasting time on low-key sketchy hustles. They're all for stepping back from the chaos, not with a dramatic exit, but a strategic fallback to safer grounds. Piecing out from the hustle is easy if you're ready to let go of the glitter. It's our own hang-ups like, but what about my empire? My squad? My drip? That hold us back. We're hooked on the hustle's high, hating the climb, but loving the view. But here's the real tea. It's not about being shackled by the game, but by clinging to it when we claim we want to break free. If you're legit about ditching these chains, vibing with freedom, and just need the playbook for a smooth exit without the drama, the Stoic Squad from Zeno to Chrysippus is here to back you with level-headed stand-up advice. Yet if you're still looking over your shoulder wondering how much loot you can carry on your chill quest, you'll never find the exit. No one's making it to shore loaded down with their bags. Aim higher with the universe cheering you on, but dodge those backhanded blessings that are more about the flex than the feels. Was about to seal this deal, but wait, we got to drop one last epic truth bomb courtesy of Epicurus. We all step out like we just stepped in. Young old doesn't matter, everyone's shook about the end, clueless about life, leaving nothing but vibes. Epicurus is throwing shade at the old-timers for acting like newbies. The goal? To peace out as carefree as we came in. But now we're all about that endgame panic. It's cause we're leaving empty-handed, having tossed our life's worth overboard. It's not about how long you live, but how fierce you live. And that's the mic drop.
Yo, you think I'm about to hit you with the usual chit-chat about how the winter's been treating us kindly or how this spring's been straight up whack with its cold vibes? Nah fam, I've got something way more legit to share, something that's gonna level up both you and me. And what's this big reveal? A shout out to keeping our minds sharp and woke. So you're wondering what's the bedrock of staying sharp? It's all about not tripping over the small stuff, not finding joy in the fluff. Real talk, reaching this mindset isn't just the start, it's the peak. When you're at that level where you're not letting the outside world control your vibe, that's when you've nailed it. Even if you've got hopes for stuff within reach, if you're always chasing, you're playing yourself, staying shook and never settled. Most important, my dude, is this: learn to find joy in the real. Think I'm trying to ghost you from all the fun stuff by saying nah to the randomness of luck or telling you to ditch hope, the sweetest hype man of our hearts. Heck no. I'm all about that genuine happiness, the kind that's homegrown right in your own vibe. Other things might smooth over the surface, but they're just fleeting. True joy, that comes from being solid inside, no matter the chaos outside. Genuine happiness is serious business. You think you can laugh off the idea of death, roll up to poverty like it's a VIP event, or kick back with pain like it's a chill sesh. Now the person who's really got joy mastered is the one who can stare down life's biggies and stay steady. That's the real deal, and it's the kind of joy I want for you. It's not about that surface level stuff. It's about striking gold deep within. So here's the deal, bestie. If you want to be truly lit, you've got to stop chasing the shiny stuff that everyone else is after. Look for the real gold, the kind that comes from you doing you. And by from your own store, I mean from your inner self, the MVP of your life. The body. Sure, we need it, but it's more about the ride than the driver. Here's the straight up truth. Pleasure that's not checked is like a ride without brakes, fun till you crash. But the real good stuff, the kind that fills your soul, that's safe to chase. Where's this goodness coming from, you ask? From keeping it 100, from living honorably, from actions that speak louder than clout, from not sweating the stuff we can't control, and from a life that's steady and chill. For those who keep hopping from one thing to another, how can anything stick? There are only a few peeps who've got their act together, following their true north. The rest, they're just floating along, caught up in whatever current life throws at them. Decide what you're about, stick to it, and let's stop just being about that drift life. Time to drop some wisdom from Epicurus to square away this message. It's a drag always starting to live. Or put another way, living ill is always starting to live. Why? 'Cause that life's always on the to-do list, never in the done bin. If you're always at the starting line, how you gonna be ready when the end game hits? Aim to have lived enough so that when the credits roll, you're not left with plans, but with memories. For real, it's wild, but most peeps are just now hitting start, when they should be hitting pause. And get this, some haven't even started living before their time's up. Let's not be those guys. Let's live now, not keep hitting refresh on a life that's always about to start.
Yo, you hit me up worried about this lawsuit drama, 'cause some salty dude's coming at you, and you're kinda hoping I'll tell you to chill, and imagine all the good stuff that could happen instead. But why stress yourself out over something that hasn't even popped off yet? Freaking out now just 'cause things might get sketchy later is like being sad today, as you think you might stub your toe tomorrow. That's straight up wild. Here's a different vibe for finding peace. Just assume whatever you're scared of is gonna happen. Like, actually let it sink in, and then weigh how much you're freaking out. You'll probably realize it's not as big a deal as you thought, or it's just a temporary mess. You don't need a time machine to find peeps who've been through it all. Hit up any chapter in history, and you'll see legends who've stared down the worst and kept it 100. Worried you might lose the case? What's the worst case scenario? Getting exiled, thrown in the slammer, or something even darker? Just name it, and remember the bosses who've laughed in the face of all that. Ruddy took his unfair conviction like a boss, Metellus, and Rutulus rocked exile like it was a choice, and Socrates turned down a jailbreak as he was all about showing death, and lockup ain't no biggie. Mucius scorched his own hand to prove a point that's hardcore. And all these stories, they're not just for flexing in philosophy class. They're real talk for dealing with our own dramas. And here I might drop the Cato story. Dude spent his last night vibing with Plato, then went out like a legend, proving he was the master of his fate, not letting the chaos of the world dictate his final scene. So what's the takeaway? Facing down our fears, even the ultimate checkout, is part of the grind. And it's not just the legends who can keep their cool. Sometimes even the underdogs surprise us with their guts. If we're gonna geek out over history, remember this. All those moments of bravery weren't just for show. They're reminders that what really freaks us out, losing our rep, facing down the end, whatever, has been handled with swagger by peeps before us, and often by those who weren't even trying to make history. Bottom line, bros, don't let the drama of what might happen mess with your vibe right now. Sure, hope for the best, but be ready to ride out whatever comes with the same chill. And always remember, the real scare is often just in our heads. Like we're all just grown-up kids scared of monsters under the bed until we turn on the lights and see there's nothing there. So when life or some dude in a suit comes at you with threats, keep your cool. Real strength is knowing you've got this, no matter what the haters or fate throws your way. And if you need a mantra to keep you steady, remember Epicurus' wisdom. It's whack to run towards death, as you're tired of life when it's really your way of living that's got you wanting out. Keep living your best life, not just for the gram, but for the real deep down joy that comes from knowing you faced down your fears and kept on stepping. That's the real win, no matter what the scoreboard says.
So we've got these two buds, right? One needs a little nudge back on track, while the other, bro, we gotta totally reboot his system. I'm all in, even if it means ruffling some feathers. Like, yo, are we really gonna babysit a dude who's hit the big 4-0? Think about it, he's set in his ways. But hey, I'm not about to throw in the towel. Maybe changing him is a long shot, but giving up ain't my style. Don't think you can teach an old dog new tricks. It's all about pushing them out of their comfort zone, even if they're throwing a fit. And about our other pal, there's still a glimmer of hope, since he's still got enough sense to feel bad about his mess-ups. That's something we can work with. Now about your seasoned player, let's tread lightly so he doesn't just give up on himself. Right now he's in this chill phase, looking like he's sorted himself out. Some might buy it, but I'm not sold. Those old habits are gonna come back with a vengeance. I'm gonna dig into it, see if there's a way to help him out for real. You though, keep that chin up, slim down your worries. Remember, we don't need all this extra stuff. Getting back to basics puts us on the VIP list to happiness. Nature's not about that high-maintenance life. Give her some bread and water and she's all good. By that rule, nobody is broke. Keep your wants simple and you're basically on par with the gods, just like Epicurus said. Let me drop some more Epicurus wisdom on you. Live your life like Epicurus is creeping on your Insta stories. It's legit to have someone to look up to, imagining they're keeping tabs on you. It's a whole different vibe living like someone's watching. But the goal? To get to a place where you respect yourself enough to kick your watchdog to the curb. For now, pick your role model, could be Cato or whoever makes you want to be your best self. Work on you so you're not tempted to mess up. Once you're feeling yourself, remember what Epicurus said about finding your own space, especially when you're stuck in a crowd. Be that guy who stands out for the right reasons. If you're not there yet, hanging with anyone is better than rolling solo and being your own worst influence. The time to find yourself is when you're drowning in a sea of faces. True, but only if you're cool, calm, and collected. Otherwise, you're safer in the crowd than left alone with a troublemaker like yourself.